Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is John from the Hoot and Hollers, and you're currently tuned in to 89.5 KOPN, Mid-Missouri's source for in-depth news, diverse talk, and music of the world. It's more than just radio, it's community radio. 89.5 on the air, KOPN. Blow!
It's KOPN Columbia, 89.5 FM. It is 4 o'clock Saturday afternoon, and time once again for Open Mic Radio. We're going to get it rolling with one from our featured artist today. Here we go. These are the Ex-Gentlemen. All right. How about it? Welcome to the program, everyone. It is Open Mic Radio, Saturday, the 25th of January, 2025. Can you believe it? It's been a month now. I know, it's been a month, and I'm still having a hard time writing it on. I won't say checks because we don't write many checks anymore, but on the things that I do at work, I always got to sign these things, and I'm always writing 2024 still. Anyhow, okay, welcome to the program. It's Open Mic Radio, Saturday afternoon. Lots of great music in store for the next couple hours. A few friends dropping by, I imagine, and I'm glad you're with us, all right? We do this most every Saturday afternoon from 4 to 6 p.m., live music and interviews with some of Missouri's finest musicians and bands. My name is Mike Hagan. I'm joined as usual by my good friend Kind Kurt. Sealark's here as well. How you guys doing?
All right. Hello. I want to give a shout out to everybody listening in Ladonia. Thanks for tuning in.
Ladonia. How about it? Ladonia, Missouri. Appreciate all you out there listening wherever you may be. And yeah, that's what we do, though. We feature awesome local and regional music and the artists who create it. Fun afternoon at the station today. Lovely weather out there for the end of January, at least. Mizzou basketball this evening. Lots happening out and about. So hope you're enjoying it. Find a way. Okay, lots to do, and get out and do it. All right. I am looking very forward to the show. This afternoon, we've got the Ex-Gentlemen with us, or at least 2/3 of the band. We also... well, I guess Matt's not here, so I was going to say we're missing a bass player, but I guess we can give Matt a bunch of trouble anyway while he's not here, I think, you guys, right? Anyway, okay, the Ex-Gentlemen are here. They're making great music, and I'm happy to have them with us today, okay? We'll get to know them a little bit better and hear some of their songs. My good friend John Randall is going to be joining us a little bit later. I think Justin Hickerson may stop by. We've got the wonderful Dylan McCord hanging around doing sound. Might get a few tracks from Dylan a little bit later. And I've got a great special guest on the phone as well we're going to talk to in just a few, I don't know, it'll be probably 10 minutes or so, but stick around. A new friend from my sort of digital life. We all have sort of a real world thing going on and also an online sort of thing, or at least many of us do. And this is a gentleman that I met recently doing a really cool creative project out of Minneapolis, but it really doesn't matter where you do this. But we'll get into that a little bit later here, okay? Anyway, you never know what else, all right? Stick around with us, okay? At some point, we will try to do a rundown of some of the things that are happening around town tonight, tomorrow, later in the week. Lots to do, so get out there. Once again, have some fun, all right? Okay, we are down here, as usual, at the KOPN facilities, 401 Bernadette. Super nice out there, at least compared to what we've been used to for the last few weeks. And we had a great fun show last week with an awesome live performance from Dylan and Danielle from Zawata. We also had a visit from some of the guys from Fox Teeth. Played a few tracks from them. They performed last weekend at Cafe Berlin with Noah Earl. Just an outstanding performance last Saturday night with Fox Teeth. If you're not familiar, check them out, okay? I had Bailey Johns on the line as well from Pink Street Management, and we heard a few songs from some projects that she's representing. A band called The Odyssey out of, where were they? They were Oklahoma, right? Yeah, Tulsa, Oklahoma, for sure. And then a band called Modeling, and I forget where they were out of, maybe Arkansas, and a real cool all-girl punk band called Stepmom, who I absolutely dig. Mm-hmm. And anyway...
Pronounced Arkansas.
Arkansas, pardon me. Yep. Okay, great. Anyway, Rocket Kirshner came by. We played a few tracks from Rocket's new record. He's a prolific singer-songwriter, been doing it for many, many years around here. And then once again, Dylan and Danielle from Zawada performed a bunch of great songs. And John Lamb was here doing video, which I need to put that up online because John's a professional videographer, and he
actually have a YouTube.
Yeah, I know. So anyway, he does it for a living, but once in a while he'll come down here to the station and videotape some of the artists that are performing, and he does a really professional sort of edit on the thing, and it's for him it's not very hard, but for the rest of us it's like super cool. I'm like, God, that was awesome, right? Anyway, so if you're listeners of the program, I'll put this up on the website when I do the podcast next week or whatever. Okay. Anyway, okay, a couple more things, and we will get to the music, all right? Big thanks to Peter Rabbit, grooving on the one mic from 2 o'clock until 4. And actually, a real honest shout-out to Peter this afternoon. We were in the studio in his face a little bit more than we normally are. And, when you're doing radio, sometimes it's nice to just have the studio to yourself and not be bothered. So, anyway, I do appreciate that, Pete, that, we're kind of doing our thing, and he's trying to do his thing at the same time. So, anyway... if you want to be a part of it, you can't today because I've got the phone lines wrapped up. So, if I could figure out a way to take a call on top of another call without losing the first call, and I'm still, I don't know if it's the phone system or it's probably just me being a dummy. But anyway, KOPN.org is the website. We're streaming around the world 24/7 at KOPN.org. Once again, shout out to Peter Rabbit. We had before... one mic from 2 to 4 before this program, and noon to 2, of course, Morgan and the Motherland Jam, outstanding music from across the continent of Africa. We do it from 4 until 6, and y'all know what happens. Y'all know what happens at 6 o'clock till 8 o'clock. It's Rosh Shumba and a reggae party. All right, stick around and put your dancing shoes on. The greatest roots rock reggae music you've ever heard from the middle of Missouri. Okay, all right.
Don't forget to mention Rosh Shumba, Mike.
I know we love him. Okay. Also, 8 o'clock to 11, incredible blues music, Blues on Broadway with Chris. Great stuff around the clock here on KOPN, your imagination station. 89.5 FM, and we are streaming at KOPN.org. All right, the ex-gentlemen are here. C. Lark is here. Kurt's here. Johnny's not here yet, but he will be. Oh, looks like John Lamb is here, and it looks like Felicia is here as well. Anyway, I think we're ready to roll. So, Dylan, what do you think? Got the thumbs up from my sound man here. All right, thank you, everyone. I appreciate y'all being here, and there you have it. All right, let's do it. For today's show, we are featuring the music of the Ex-Gentlemen. We're going to learn a little bit more about these guys, but first, let's see if we can get a song out of them, okay? And I'll say you're listening to Open Mic Radio on KOPN Columbia. You guys ready to do one?
Sure.
All right, let's do it.
Ready?
I don't hear anything.
Oh.
Keep going.
You got it this way.
You got a volume knob.
Coming out now.
All right, ready?
All right, once again, Open Mic Radio. This is the Ex-Gentlemen. we're surfing and rock and rolling this afternoon on Open Mic Radio. Once again, KOPN Columbia, and the ex-gentlemen with us this afternoon. Thrilled to have them, and let's say hello to Nate and Ed. Hey, you guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Thanks for having us.
I sure appreciate you being here. Let's start with a couple questions about this band that you have. So first of all, I think that we mentioned that you're missing a bass player this afternoon.
Yeah.
Matt, who's involved in a number of different projects around town, has got a gig, actually doing sound, I guess, over at Rose this afternoon. So it's just guitar and drums this afternoon, but still filling up the room rather nicely. How long has the band been together, you guys?
Year and a half.
Yeah, I think we're coming up on 2 years.
What's the story? How did it happen?
Well, I was cruising Craigslist, and it was Nate had run an ad for a surf band, and I happened to play in one in Florida. I moved here from Florida and played in one down there for a couple of years.
Where are you from originally?
Well, I moved here from Central Florida, from DeLand. I lived in Florida for the last since 1986. And then,
wow, long time.
Yeah, I was 13, and my girlfriend at the time decided she wanted to go to grad school, so we made the move to Missouri, and we kind of stayed. I've been here like coming up on 7 years.
All right, yeah. And,
So-
and you live here in Columbia?
I live here in Columbia.
Yeah. How'd you hook up with Nate and Matt?
Well, Nate, like I said, I answered the ad for
Oh, yeah,
Craigslist.
yeah.
And then I knew Matt just because I actually filled in a couple gigs for Bar and Billy's
Sure, yeah.
and played, brushes and snare drum for them.
Yeah,
I
they're a lot of fun if you've never seen them, and they've been doing it for a long time as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
That's how I originally met Matt. Was he was playing bass and still does for the Bar and Billy's, but yeah.
Yeah. So I knew Matt just from around town because we kind of, everybody runs in the same circle. So got his number, gave him the text, and he was into it. So yeah, that was it. So,
What about you, Nate? Where are you originally from around here? Or?
No. I moved here from Athens, Georgia, about a year and a half ago.
Wow, quite a
And,
music scene down there.
Yeah. I was playing in like 5 bands. I'm only doing 2 here now.
All right.
You'll see me again next week.
Are you playing with Lemon Settlement as well?
Yeah, with John.
Oh, right on. Did I know that? Did I know that?
Yeah.
I guess I did know that.
That's why I was so familiar.
Thought you looked awfully familiar.
All right. Well, what was it like in Athens? Like, what was the time frame that you were there?
2013 until a year and a half ago.
Yeah. Oh my
So,
gosh.
about
Yeah.
10 years, yeah.
Yeah. Right in the heart of a lot of great stuff, huh?
Oh yeah. It was good. While I was there, I got into playing instrumental surf music, and actually started the Athens Surf Music Festival.
Really?
It's been going every year except for 2020.
That's all. That's awesome.
So,
yeah,
since
we
then-
actually played it last year.
we
went down
drove
there.
back to play last year.
Well, I was chatting with Ed off the air before the program, and he told me that you had a very interesting sort of story, and you've been around the world and done a lot of extremely interesting and cool things with and around music. So, how did? Let's start with the surf festival. That's still something that's going on in Athens, you said?
Yeah, a friend of mine's taking it over this year
And
setting it up right now. So
that's awesome. And it's been going on for 10 or 11 years?
yeah, this will be year 12, I guess. Yeah.
Incredible. What's the nature? Is it an outdoor festival? Is it indoor? How many people are involved? Is it a big deal? Or
Outdoors in the springtime, usually April or May. Started out in April and it moved to May.
1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 10 bands, 100
Just
bands?
a full Saturday.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Starting
What's
at like
the-
1 in the afternoon and going until 10 p.m. You know?
So and the surf rock scene is obviously a thing.
Yeah, we're pulling bands from other states as well in the southeast for that one. So
What are you finding around here performing this kind of music? Are you getting attention? Are people showing up at the shows? Do they like it? What's
I believe so. Yeah, I mean,
I hope so.
there is one other instrumental surf band in town, and I think there's a couple of bands in Kansas City. So might be able to pull together.
How'd you end up here? Why? What brought you to Columbia?
Well, we moved from one university town to another, so
It sounds like the same thing that Ed did.
working at the university.
Pretty
Okay,
similar.
so you have that's a day gig or something like that.
Yeah.
Are you a professor or what do you do?
Yeah, that's how I can afford to buy guitars and amps.
Well, you got to find a way to fund your hobbies. I know that much,
Yeah.
right? By the way, John Lamb in the house with us this afternoon. I'm pretty excited to do this live remote next Saturday at Club LVX, and
Yeah, we are too.
that's gonna be awesome, John.
Yeah, Nate, when he moved to town, he saw another ad for the Lemon Settlement, and he joined us. And well, like a week later,
I didn't realize the
the
Craigslist band scene was so hot.
It might have been a different site, but
You have to be careful, of course. And
All right.
yeah, first we fleeced him for $50, but then he called back, and then we let him join the band.
You tell him, if you text him, you got to send a code back to you
Yeah.
to verify that he's a real human being.
I usually try to get a full name out of them and then see what kind of online stalking I can do. You know, you can tell by a Facebook page. So that's my criteria.
All right. So anyway, a promo certainly for the show next Saturday from 4 to 6. The doors will be open and the bar will be open, and lots of great rock and roll.
Where's that again, Mike?
It's on the corner of 9th and Walnut, right in downtown Columbia.
And we figured out how to pronounce it, right?
LVX.
It is. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I thought it was Lux, but no, it is a V. So Club LVX, and it's a really cool place if you haven't been down there, and certainly great for a live music performance. So we'll be down there from 4 to 6, and I hope many of you listeners out there will join us. It'll be a lot of fun, and I'll buy you all a beer, or not. I'll buy some of you a beer. That's how many of you show up. Okay. Okay, back to the band. Are you performing? Okay, let's talk about recorded music. Are you guys planning on recording, or are you recording? Do you?
That stuff's hot off the press.
So the song we opened up with was called Krakatoa, and that's a demo of something that you're going to release on an EP or a full length album, or never, or
We're not sure yet. We're figuring it out. We're gonna get it mixed first and see how everything comes out.
I learned a long time ago, never ask bands or musicians like when they're going to release anything. It's just not a good question, and no one ever answers it very, very accurately usually.
Yeah, we're not, like I said, we're not sure. We'll see once we get everything all put together and see how it flows and see if we're gonna keep them all or get rid of a couple, and then eventually, I mean, the plan is to get some on Spotify and maybe cut together a little video.
How do you record? Do you do it at one of your places, or do you record in the studio somewhere? Or?
So JT from Bar and
Sure,
Billy's,
sure, yeah.
he recorded us remotely.
JT Schnackenberger.
Yep, he recorded us remotely on his computer, and then he sent me the tracks, and I've been mixing them for the last couple of weeks.
Right on. All right, cool.
What are some of you guys' influences, may I ask?
Yeah, Kurt's got a good question.
I mean, I have a lot of different drummer influences. This music, to me, it just reminds me of, it's Dick Dale-ish,
Yeah.
He could tell you more about that because he's spent some time in Turkey, and a lot of those scales are like Turkish scales and stuff like that. So.
Interesting. There was a cat that kind of cut his teeth here in Columbia. His name was Deke Dickerson, and he has a little bit of fame and fortune out there, and he's very Dick Dale influenced, and actually an extremely talented guy. Are you, anybody familiar, perhaps?
Oh yeah.
I heard about him.
Yeah.
What was the name of his band? Him and Sammy and...
You talking about DiAgostino?
No. Deke Dickerson.
Yeah. I don't know.
I didn't mean to...
No. I mean, if I knew, I'd answer. Maybe somebody else knows, but
They have a big, huge following.
if Big Cat Matt were here,
Big
he would
Cat
tell
Matt,
us. We need Big Cat in the house because he's got the goods on Dickerson. But
that's for sure.
anyway, I'll tell you what. We're about halfway past the hour of 4 o'clock. Would you guys play another song for us, and then I'll give you guys a break? I've got a phone call that I'd like to, or a gentleman on the phone I'd like to get on the air and talk about some stuff that I'm excited to talk about. And let's get one more song, and then we'll get to open mic.
Okay.
On the open mic show, and it's a crazy story. This guy who's on, who we're going to talk to in a few minutes. So anyway, hang around and let's hear one more from the ex-gentleman. How about that?
Do Madrigada?
Maybe Jackknife.
Jackknife? All right.
Sounds good. All right, Open Mic Radio,
Let one rip here.
KOPN Columbia. And
You want to do that one?
once again, it's
Let's do Madrigada.
All right, that's fine.
ex-gentleman. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Yeah, love it. Excellent. All right. The ex-gentleman. Thank you, guys. All right. Take a break, and I'll have you drag you back in here in a few minutes, all right?
Sounds good.
All right. Okay, it's Open Mic Radio, KOPN Columbia, 89.5 FM. Dylan, you might want to grab a mic and have a set of headphones on. I think you might want to chat with, or at least be a part of this conversation that we're going to have in a minute. And same thing with both Ed and Nate. Either one of you guys, if you want put on a set of headphones and listen to the conversation, you're welcome to do that as well, okay?
I'll be right back in.
Yeah, okay. All right, once again, it is about 4:34 on the 25th of January, 2025. I would like to say that True False is back in downtown Columbia, February 27th through March 2nd, bringing nonfiction films and immersive and interactive art, music showcases, and great music all weekend long. More information and passes are available now at truefalse.org or the Ragtag Cinema box office. Okay.
Get them now.
Yeah, True False is now, started out as just a very small, humble little film festival, and now it's like the, I don't know, what's the one in
That is true.
What's the one in out west? Sundance? Yeah, it's like the Sundance of the Midwest now. Honestly, we get lots of great films and very, very well done stuff at the True False Film Festival.
The Butch Cassidy.
The Butch Cassidy Film Festival. Yep, all westerns all the time, right? Okay, so this is a change of gears. So I will try to do a little bit of an intro and tell you how this came about. But in my life, outside of the radio studio, I do a day job as well, but I also have an online sort of personality. And
is this another true false question, Mike?
No, this is serious. So honestly, and either put on, and I want you to put a set of headphones on, Kurt, because you're a musician and it's important. Okay, so anyway, there's a sort of a fledgling social media platform, which is called Nostr, and it's an abbreviation for Notes and Other Things by Relay. I forget exactly what it stands for. Maybe my guest can help us with that. But at any rate, Nostr is essentially a decentralized platform that you can build other things on top of, just like the internet. I mean, the internet, of course, has lots of things that are built onto it, including social media platforms, but they are all centralized platforms that are owned and operated by large corporations and or individuals. In any case, they're owned and operated by somebody, some entity, somewhere. The cool thing about Nostr and the apps that are built on top of it, they're decentralized in the sense, like if you know anything about digital currency or Bitcoin, for example, you know that there's no CEO and there's no board of directors, and the thing runs essentially on its own because many people around the world run the software, basically. So anyway, Nostr is a platform that is growing up on the internet, but it allows for some really cool things to happen, including something that we call value for value. And basically, it takes the middleman out of payments. The idea that I could send a payment anywhere in the world over the network without an intermediary in a secure and
a whole half of the pie gets eaten before you can get your mouth on it.
Exactly. So anyway, I got involved, or I joined. I got a Nostr ID. Basically, it's just a cryptographically secured ID that you can use across the entire platform. So imagine if you had all these different apps, and you got to log into Facebook this way, and you log into Twitter this way, and you log in. That's all gone. You have one ID. It's trans-platform. It goes all the way across. Anything built on Nostr, you can use your one ID. There's no KYC. There's no AML stuff going on. You can get on Nostr without so much as an email address. No name, no address, no phone number. It is very friendly for those that are interested in privacy and freedom. But anyway, I was posting something about the radio show, and I said, "Oh, here, I'm still pretty unfamiliar with this thing, but it's kind of like I was imagine like Twitter, but not Twitter, and it's just like this decentralized platform that not that many people use." So I said, "Oh yeah, I do this radio show. It's called Open Mic Radio, and here's the last podcast." I posted something like that. Well, somebody sends a note. I wish I knew the guy's name. I need to track back into my my history. But someone sent me a message and said, "Does Open Mic know about this?" And I said, "What?" And he said, "There's a guy here on Noster who goes by Open Mic, and I don't go by Open Mic online. I go by Alchemike. It's a different handle." And I said, "No, I didn't know there's another." So it turns out there is a guy by the name of Mike. He lives in Minneapolis. He goes by Open Mic Online. And I sent him a note and said, "Hey, I do this radio show, and I heard that you're..." And he does really cool stuff. I was introduced to his stuff, what he was doing before I met him. Somebody said, "Well, you got to check out what he's doing." And so I did, and we had a couple of phone conversations, and we're just kind of getting to know one another. But without further delay, I'll bring Mike on the air here and say, "Hello, Mike, and welcome to Open Mic Radio." It's
Hello, Mike.
Hey, Mike, how's it going? It's great to be here.
It's good, and it is funny. I feel like I'm talking to myself. But so anyway, I tried to give a reasonable idea of how you and I kind of were introduced. But as far as what you're doing, I'd like you to kind of give an explanation. As simple as you can and with as much detail as you need for people that are really unfamiliar. Because one of the things that Mike and I have talked about is sort of bridging this gap between traditional radio, traditional music, traditional production, traditional performances, and bridging them with this new sort of digital paradigm that we're all in now. So, Mike, would you please try to? You can give a little bit of background of yourself if you want, but tell people what you're doing with Noster and with your project, which is called Tunester, which I'm so excited about.
Yeah, no, this is great. It's great intro. That was such a funny day when we were introduced to each other on Noster, yeah. And to learn more about what you're up to, and then just the chance that we're like-minded, right? And that we're both kind of shooting for the same target. It's just no coincidences, huh?
I love it. Yep.
But yeah, I'm an old school musician, or not a musician, music guy, up in the Twin Cities in Minnesota. And my day job is I work music venues. I operate and help manage a handful of venues up here, and we promote, a couple thousand, probably 1,300 concerts a year, and so I'm very plugged into the independent music scene. We're all independently owned and operated. We're very, looking for what's right for the artist, what's right for the industry, what's right for the art in general, and.
So things like Live Nation and Ticketmaster make you about as angry as they make me, huh?
Mm.
I mean, they're
too many people eating the pie and not enough people feeding when they're doing their art.
I can't even come up with the words, right? Like the stuff
staggering.
that you know from outside of the industry, the stuff that you know isn't even half of it.
Well,
the way that they can really just manipulate the narrative into whatever they need it to be that day, whether they're talking about, merch commissions or ticket fees or transparency. They can just, because they own every step of the process, they can just make money at a different spot if they take a cut in this area.
And of course, never mind the thousands and thousands of hours it takes to harness your craft and put it out in front of people. That doesn't have any value, right?
That's
so it's really it's a big problem. And yeah, that's my daily life is how do we manage to stay, we can't outpay them. So we have to outwork them and outproduce the experience for customers and artists who want to play our venues and not take the big paycheck of a Live Nation venue. Because we're never going to be able to outspend them.
No, we got to spread it out. We got to create it. We got to spread it out. We got to do things. Hi, by the way, I'm Dylan.
Oh yeah, and so
nice to meet you, Dylan.
Yeah, Dylan is a local musician. He's also one of the most talented sound guys around these parts. He did sound for the primary venue here in Columbia. It's called the Blue Note, and lots of big bands have been through there over many years. But he's a real talented sound guy, and he also understands streaming and video. And he's going to be my right hand man as we introduce this new thing that you're doing, hopefully to some people around here. Let's move a little bit further into the traditional versus or combined with the new stuff that you're doing, Mike.
Methods of collection.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think the keyword there is combined, because as you
right.
just described Noster, you used the word fledgling. I'd say thriving. It's but it's nascent. It's so young.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's preteen.
It's incredible. Yeah, I'll give you like the 30,000 foot view elevator pitch. Essentially, you have the same way that social media is centralized right now. Social media is all run by private companies, so it's you upload your data, your content, and then that one central entity will broadcast it out to the world. It's a one-to-many relationship.
Right.
Noster is a many-to-many relationships. So you sign up for Noster the same way that you sign up for, say, email. But there's no one email. You have Gmail, Hotmail, Outlook, all the various flavors of email. And so Noster is, think of it more as an ecosystem or a programming language rather than a platform.
Right.
So you can,
because the platforms are built on top of it, essentially.
It sounds like
precisely
one in, one out. Every one in gets a one out. And
so instead of having a Facebook account and an Instagram account and a Snapchat, TikTok, you have a Noster identity. It's easier for our minds to conceptualize an account, but you have an identity, and then you can carry that in to the Facebook community and just kind of plug your identity in there, take a look around, post a few things, take it out, then go over to Instagram, plug it in there, and your whole social graph and your history of all of your interactions, your followers, the people who follow you, who you follow, everything travels with you.
Right. It's amazing.
And it's really, really hard. I mean,
it's so
I've
hard
been
to
in
describe.
This world. It's hard to conceptualize because we've just never seen anything like it.
You got to use it. It's
correct.
It's like the psychedelic experience. It's very hard to describe to somebody. You just have to do it, and then you'll know what you're talking about. But this thing is so. And
long gone are the days where you're selling your tapes and records out the back of your trunk, like you're doing the mouth to mouth. So you have to think about that in that regard.
All right,
how you're spreading it and how you're getting paid for it.
Yeah, and this is the point
ultimately you're trying to find a way. What you're talking about is a way to actually get more of the artist who is creating it, a bigger chunk of the money that is generated from what they're creating, thereby actually promoting them being able to make more art.
Yeah,
and doing the same thing. Ultimately, right, is what you guys are talking about.
Yeah,
if you distill it down to
the idea is an additional complementary income stream.
And those who are growing,
but something that's not being picked apart by every little.
And those who are growing the fruit are getting to eat the fruit.
Well, that's right. And so, Mike, let's talk a little bit about value for value, because I think that's something that is so unfamiliar with most people, just because you don't see it very often. We've become so comfortable and so used to having a middleman between ourselves, our money, and somebody else, and we're really not used to giving value for value. So could we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, and it all comes back,
and then tie it into the music thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Value for value has been around forever. It's the concept of busking, of paying what it's worth.
Yeah,
You know,
somebody walks by, they like what they hear, they give something to you.
Correct. And really, if anybody, like, the pioneer, the real champion of all of this is Adam Curry. For you know, music buffs who've been around for a couple decades like us.
And yes,
he was
you
one
heard-
of the original VJs
from
on
MTV.
MTV.
You mean
in
us
the 80s.
old
So you-
cats?
Yeah, like all of us, right? Like, you know, he's the guy walking around interviewing Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney in the late 80s on MTV, and he was on Headbangers Ball.
Yeah.
So he developed this theory of value for value. He has a great website. It's value, then the number 4, value.info. And it's kind of his manifesto of like what this all means philosophically. And he's been doing it since before Bitcoin, before Nostr. He's been, these are now just tools that make it undeniably easier and a superior experience for customers and artists alike. So it's been really awesome to see him over the decades. He has a podcast called No Agenda.
No Agenda, yeah.
Not
Very popular.
Not
podcast,
music. Yeah, he's like 1 million monthly listeners. It's very huge. But his concept is, I'm going to put this product out there, and I'm going to empower all of my listeners. And he calls his listeners producers because he does what they want. People will provide him value in the form of donations, monetary contributions to what they think his content is worth. And in the first 15 years, that was fiat, dollars. It was cash, PayPal, whatever,
Right.
But now that Bitcoin, ever since Bitcoin, he's realized how, like when I have PayPal, they take 3%, and, every once in a while, the services somebody will get cut off if they say the wrong thing. You've got all this censorship going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of gatekeeping for sure.
Right.
Yeah, and he likes to talk about anything and everything and conspiracies, and No Agenda holds no punches. So it's controversial, and so the censorship angle is important to him, and then that's all amazing. And then as it relates to art and artists, and where I came into this whole scene is, I've been into Bitcoin as I'm a finance guy in my day job. And so the Bitcoin concept really just makes perfect sense. Like, money is just an IOU from the government, and yada, yada, yada. We don't have to talk about Bitcoin. The concept of having that made sense. So I was very primed when the Bitcoin community started talking about social media.
And hey, Mike, let me jump in real fast and say the reason that Bitcoin is important in this conversation is because it is the network that allows the payments to be done from one party to another without the middleman, in a very secure and safe and friendly, fun fashion. So the payment side of the thing, the backbone is the Bitcoin network, and of course, we use Lightning on top of that, but we don't have to get into that. But it is important. So.
That's correct.
That's how we handshake across digital platforms and say, this is what your stuff's worth. Here you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it is important, I guess. I take for granted that for the public, there's Bitcoin, and then there's everything else.
Yes, that's my opinion as well.
Everything else is some iteration of the same centralized problem. So Bitcoin, that's all. If that's all you take away, just forget about Trump coin, forget about Dogecoin. It's not the same. They all have their uses, but it's not what we're here for.
Agreed. Yeah.
And so Nostr comes about, and this is it's actually, I got into Nostr from your buddy Jack Dorsey just down the road in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
He posted in 2023 that he had discovered this protocol, this programming language for us non-devs, right? that he believed solved the problems that he was trying to fix with Twitter, where he wanted it to be a free speech and a free global town square to talk, and nobody could govern and kind of tell you what to do, and you could just be yourself.
Nobody could throw you off. Nobody could ban you. Nobody could take all your money. Nobody could,
Yeah, and it was called Nostr. And so he posted just before Christmas in 2022, that he was donating a substantial amount of money to this anonymous developer to support Nostr. And I immediately said, well, if Jack says this is the better Twitter, I'm going to try it out. And so I did, and sure enough, it's incredibly, like, everything about it is superior experience. It's pretty well timed that you actually.
I was so blown
brought
away.
me on here.
Yeah, I love it.
And you brought me on the show this Sunday last week. Millions and millions of artists are totally like rug pulled from their primary
from the TikTok
primary source. Yeah, their primary source of income.
Yeah.
Anybody who built their career around TikTok.
Yep.
For a second, didn't know how they were going to pay their bills. Didn't know how they did nothing wrong. But their whole existence was just scooped away, and you realize like how privileged we are as Westerners, particularly Americans. We don't have to worry about financial censorship. We don't have to worry about our money going to zero. We don't have to worry about people on our social media platform, like the government just taking over and shutting things down. And that was a big wake-up call, and a lot of people came screaming to us in the day job, saying, like, well, what are we going to do? We're going to go to this, Red Note or whatever it was in China. All these different variations of the same problem, and we're just sitting there on Nostr saying, guys,
it's already here.
Billboard right here.
Yeah.
The only thing we don't have is we just don't have the volume. It's like people come on and expect to get hundreds of thousands of likes when they say something funny or do a dancing video, and you'll get a couple dozen thumbs up. But like the really neat thing about Nostr is, well, I could go on and on forever, but Nostr layers in Bitcoin. So the way that you have like a Facebook post and you have the like button and the share button.
Right.
Well, in Nostr, you have the like button, and then you have another button called the Zap.
That's right. A little lightning bolt looking thing.
Yeah, you connect your wallet, your Bitcoin wallet, which is not owned by anybody but you.
Right.
And you actually talk with your money, and you can zap people instantly, fractions of a penny.
Yeah,
and, one of the artists,
right,
or
$1,000 if you choose. You can at the click of a button, you can. And imagine again, you're on Facebook or you're on Twitter or you're on a social media platform that you normally use, and there's an additional little button down there with the likes and the reposts and all that looks like a little lightning bolt, and it seems so simple, but it's such a big deal. You click on that little lightning bolt, and you can send that person money directly to them without an intermediary in payment for what you believe is the value that they just shared with you through their post. And it's a huge deal, and I think that people can probably make the jump to see how that could be valuable for an artist performing live, for example, and streaming that show. Imagine the same thing occurring with people who are listening and watching your performance. They could be watching you perform in St. Louis, and they could be watching from Tokyo, and all they do is click that little zapper button and can send you, as much as they choose. I think it's just incredible.
Yeah, and then so that's the basis of Nostr. And remember, Nostr, it's easy for us to think about it as social media, but it's a programming language, so you can build whatever you want on it. And so there's already been, I'll just use the existing terms because they have their own name, and in Nostr. Like, it's not called Facebook, it's not called Twitter.
Right.
But we've already got an Instagram clone, we've got a Twitter clone, we've got a Spotify clone, and what I'm working on is a live stream platform. I called it Tunester. And essentially, you take your digital ID, so you can carry it around with you. So, like your platform that you were just posting on Facebook, you could bring that over to this YouTube, and so all of your followers know what's going on when you log into this platform, and they can see what you're doing. And you could just turn on the camera and start playing your concert, and people can log in. There's a chat room on the right, and they can just zap you money as you're playing real time. And it's been really powerful to watch. And you know, I've been around the business a long time. Like, live streams have been like the bane of existence of live venues for quite some time. We know it's not a great business model in and itself.
Right.
But for me, it is. I've used this term a couple times. It's the billboard for Nostr, because it is an experience that you can actually see this technology in action. How, you know, we just did a show in Texas, in Austin, last month with Adam Curry.
Yeah, the one you sent to me. Hey, I tell you, Mike, I'd say I'm going to have you hold that thought for a second. We're top of the hour here. I got to remind people they're listening to KOPN Columbia, 89.5 FM. This is Mike Hagan, and you're listening to Open Mic Radio.
Yeah.
I've got Kurt
Columbia
here, I've got Clark here, we've got Ed and Nate here.
Community
You know,
radio.
we'll play another song. Ed, how about if can we play Monster?
Yeah, man. Monster Truck.
Monster Truck.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna play another one from the ex-gentleman here, and then we'll come back and chat. Mike, are you good to talk for a few more minutes?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, hang around. Okay, I've got people screaming at me though. They want to hear more music.
Play
so-
some Dune.
Mike,
I'm one of them. I want more music.
All right, some more music here, and then we'll come back and we'll chat some more with Open Mic, and we'll talk a little bit more about Tunester and the Nostr protocol, and how we can maybe
Still talking.
use this to help other artists around here. Okay. All right, KOPN Columbia 89.5 FM. This is Monster Truck. It's the ex-gentleman.
Oh, please.
Yay! Yeah, how about it? All right. That is the Ex-Gentleman and a song called Monster Truck.
Love it.
We're going to get another live one from those guys in a few minutes, but I want to kind of wrap things up with Open Mic here and talk a little bit more about Tunester and how we might be able to move this thing forward with artists around the world, including artists that are here in mid-Missouri. What do you think, Mike?
That sounds great. Music to my ears.
So, we before the break there, we were talking about a show that you produced down in Texas. It was a few weeks ago, or maybe at the end of the year.
Yeah. So we're just looking for ways to get the word out there on Nostr and tell artists that there's another way that doesn't involve companies and intermediaries and middlemen and gatekeepers and rent seekers and all these folks. You can go straight to your fans. You can broadcast in this free and open protocol. And so, it's interesting in the same way that all of this stuff, it sounds like it's too good to be true. Well, Tunester, it's all open source code. So the code that I used to launch Tunester, it's a free software package that I found on GitHub, and I just decided to use it specifically for music and see how it worked. And people loved it. And so I just called it Tunester so people would know that this is a music space.
Right.
And it's not for video games. It's not for cooking. It's just for people who want to share and distribute and build community around music.
I feel like I want to say, hi, Mike. My name's Dylan, and we need to talk. I don't know to what degree, but there's a thing that you're speaking about on an avenue that I am not aware of, that the avenues I am aware of will run in complete parallel with. And everything that you're saying, dude, you're fighting the battle, and I am all of my life's existence on your side, homie.
Yeah, so... I thought the same thing when I met Mike, and also for just so you know, Dylan once again is a longtime sound guy and knows the ins and outs of the business side of it.
Musician,
kind of like you do, Mike.
Re-established musician first with a whole lot of 30 years of technical aptitude, but being an artist, musician, creative person on team with whoever I'm mixing is the only reason I've had a family and a life with my career. Right. But the music side of it and the harnessing my years and figuring out a way to grow the possibilities of what we can present for one another and how we can actually support ourselves with this lifelong quest of being a musician, being an artist, being a tech, being a creator of things and moments for people to grow and be better for having been there.
Preach it, Brother Dylan. Preach
Dope City, USA, homie. I don't know how we're going to engage with each other later, but I can't wait till we do.
Yeah, we're going to figure out how to bring a bunch of this stuff together. So, anyway, Mike, maybe some final words about the difficulty. What are the hurdles in order to implement this kind of thing for artists or for a venue or for somebody who might want to just do this, broadcast their musical podcast on over Tunester or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, right now it's just we're all just bootstrapping. We're all just side hustle, bootstrapping,
nickel
trying
and
to.
dime.
I'll tell you what, really
and
quickly though, and correct me if I'm wrong though, Mike, but that event that you guys did a few months ago generated a pretty significant amount of money, the equivalent.
That's the great thing about nickel and dime is you put them in a pile and they equate to something.
I mean, did I hear you right when I think you said something like 17 or 18 million Satoshis over the course of the weekend?
That was the very first one that I ever did, had such a overwhelming support because, the same kind of reaction that Dylan just had. We had a really big audience. Everybody, all eyes were on us, and 18 million sats to play a concert at a small 250 cap room is ridiculous. That was
That's
And
equivalent.
So the goal is to present that
$16,000.
in such a way that is surprising, and to present the production and the lighting and the capture in the moment in such a way that it is.
I think that's a big part of it, right? I think that's a big part of it, Mike, is that the sound quality has to be good. You want it to be a professional production, right? But you guys, for those out there who don't know the math, 19,000 Satoshis is over $20,000.
I have no idea what that math is.
So-
I just know that means some more money in my pocket. That sounds
So-
awesome.
Okay, so I'm gonna say thank you to our guest, Mike. You're welcome to stick around, stay on the phone, and we can probably come back and forth a little bit more between now and the end of the show. But if you have anything that you'd like to add right now before we get back to some music, maybe we could. I'll give you the platform here if you'd like to say whatever.
Yeah, no, I think I've taken up far too much of the airwaves from musicians here today, so I'm gonna
Not at all,
hang up
sir.
after this.
Well, I really thought it was important,
but I
and I
do-
still do. So yeah.
You are the wave
I
by
agree.
which we
And
surf.
That's why. Thank you. And there's a whole community of maniacs like me on Noster. I'm just the guy that you're talking to today.
Right.
You know.
Oh, you're that particular nerd and that particular geek.
Yeah.
Dude, don't ever
I'm looking
apologize for
forward
that.
to. I'm looking forward to keeping the dialogue going with you, Mike, and let's collab and figure out how we can educate and empower people to join this crazy new world. And the only way to win is to opt out, right? It's the only way. Like, you're not going to take down these big platforms. You're just going to choose something different, and that's going to take away their influence.
Yep.
And
Absolutely
that's it.
agree.
So-
Absolutely agree.
So I'll leave you with that, and I really thank you for finding me on Noster, and
Incredible.
and it's
Well, we got a little
program
pod
before
right
this
here in the
was-
middle of Missouri that's going to really be part of your team and helping develop this, because we got some dope talent in this town that needs exactly
it.
this.
All right, stick around, Mike,
I love it.
and I think that we should tell people if they really want to dive in and take a look around, download something like Damus or Primus on your. Or Primal, I'm sorry.
Primal,
Primus. I'm thinking about, we're missing a bass player. I'm thinking about Primus. Anyway, Primal is essentially is like Twitter on Noster. There are lots of different apps, but if all you do is download Primal, you'll have yourself a wallet that's built into that app, and you can kind of engage and just kind of see what's out there. And you might check out Tunester.io, TUNESTR.io, and you can see what Mike's up to, right?
Yep, that's right. That's a great
Very cool.
place to start.
All right, cool. So honestly, stick around as long as you like, Mike. I'm gonna bring your mic down, but we're gonna have some music, and you're welcome to just hang around with the party. Okay.
Sounds great. Thank you.
All right, cool. Once again, open mic from Minneapolis. Check out Tunester, check out Noster, and this will not be the last time we talk about this stuff, okay? Okay, it is Open Mic Radio, KOPN Columbia, 89.5 FM. Dylan, I'm telling you, I'm so excited about that. All you guys, very, very cool stuff. And the ex-gentlemen, 2 of the 3 are here, and Nate and Ed are kind of saying, they missed their bass player. I say it still sounds great in here, and
Matt Weingardner is my dude.
yeah, Matt's a great bass player, and we miss him too. But we'll get one more here from the ex-gentlemen, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit about these songs and a little bit more about the recordings that they're coming up with here. Okay, all right. Once again, KOPN Columbia. We're on the web, kopn.org. A lot of people listening out there. I can see you on the map. I appreciate it, and we'll get to the music here. Anytime you guys are ready, let's do it. I love it. All right. How about it? The ex-gentleman here in the studio this afternoon, 2 out of 3, and sounded pretty good even without a bass player there. Love it, you guys. Hey, Nate, what's your background in guitar playing? Like, are you traditionally trained, or do you learn by yourself, or you got a great ear, or all the above?
Well, when I was 14 years old, I started taking classical guitar lessons. So I did. We were using a book from Andres Segovia.
Oh my gosh!
So like,
wonderful classical player,
and
sure.
stuff like that in there. So yeah.
Huh?
And then I turned 16 and I got an electric guitar for my birthday.
And did you never look back, or do you still enjoy classical stuff as well?
The classical guitar is still sitting in a case at my
That's
house.
almost verbatim my story.
All right. Did you ever? Okay, I got to talk about that guitar first of all. It's a Fender. It's not a Jaguar. What is it?
Jazzmaster.
The Jazzmaster. Okay, it has sort of the same shape. Does the Jaguars have a similar shape?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, it's the same offset body design.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that, John. Are you a tech head? Do you have lots of different gear? And maybe for people who are curious, sometimes we do a little. We call it the gearhead section of the show.
Idea. But he has 100 of those.
People like to
guitars.
talk about what kind of, or like to hear about what kind of pedals you have and guitars you use and amps and all that stuff. Hey, Justin Hickerson in the house.
Hey, what's up?
How are you, my friend?
Can I jump in and
Sure.
railroad this gear conversation real quick?
Please.
I'm a huge fan and proponent and fellow user of those Zildjian Crashadoons.
You know.
They are wonderful cymbals.
Are those?
Thank you.
That's the ride that you've got there?
That is.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
It's called
jack of all trades
It's
symbol.
the Crash of
It's
Doom.
literally called the Crash of Doom.
It's a symbol that Zildjian developed in the early 2000s with Dennis Chambers.
Yes.
Who was the drummer for?
He was a drummer for a lot of people. Probably most notably, he was like one of George Clinton's drummer. He was on some P-Funk albums.
Cool.
and
All right.
with folks
Toured
like
with
that. But
Steely Dan too for a little bit.
Wow.
yeah, he did.
Wow, impressive.
Steely
I
Dan
loved all
tour.
that Steely Dan
Yeah,
stuff.
he's just like one of those tour guys, like Steve Gadd or Dave Weckl or something. He's just like a standalone artist as a drummer in his own right.
Yeah.
And when they first like rolled those out, they were called the Crash of Doom. They were only released in a 20-inch size, which was big for a Crash cymbal at the time. And you see how they're kind of like warped on the edge there.
That's
part of like
that's part of the design.
But they like
I didn't do that.
No, but in the first couple years of those,
Ed's hitting them hard.
in the first couple of years of those symbols, though, when I used to see them in magazines, that was like way more exaggerated than that. They looked like they had been like all beat up, and it was part of the. They were like, "Don't worry about the warped edges. That's part of the doomy dark sound." But I think they laid off it in the last, in the years since then, because I do think like it was aesthetically like probably not helping itself very much, so they eased up on the visual of it. But man, it's such a great symbol. They're paper thin, and they're like,
wow.
I've got two of them.
They should be giving you a little bonus for this.
I'm kind of a nerd. It's my favorite symbol. I've got two of them. I've actually got a prototype that I found. It's a 24-inch, which they never actually had on a.
I got a prototype.
Hey, me too, man.
We need to talk.
But the stamp on there, instead of a serial number, it's got Dennis Chambers' name etched in there. It's the holy grail of Crash of Dooms. It's the most niche nerd thing that I possess.
You've got a few of them now, along with those Bob Dylan records of yours. So.
What does the warped edge give you versus a traditional symbol?
I don't really know. It's trashier than a normal symbol. It has like a
It's that that dark.
So
it's the Doom, man.
It's just yeah. They call it the Oriental Crash of Doom. So
yeah, that was the line of symbols back in the day. Now they're all just called FX. But
all right, well. So Justin totally hijacked the guitar conversation.
So sorry.
No,
anyway,
I'll talk. Let's go.
I was like, hold on. There's some serious gear.
So now we know about it was a nice hijack. The Crash of Doom, very cool. All right, so back to Nate though. So you're playing the Jazzmaster, and typically do you play out of this type of amp or that, or do you have a whole slew of those as well?
I got a hijack. He built that guitar. Built that guitar.
Wow.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I put it together at a party.
Yeah, it's a champ out there, right?
Yeah. Still, very cool, impressive. Yeah. All right. So you're a tech head and you got all kinds of stuff. Yeah. What's your normal pedal setup?
For surf, I always use a Surfy Bear reverb. So it's a reverb unit that's transistor.
Okay.
But it's basically the same circuit as the old tube ones from the early 60s.
Hey, also, by the way, Mike from Minneapolis, your mic is on too. If you want to join the conversation, you're welcome to jump in. So,
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Have you ever played up in Minneapolis?
Minneapolis? No.
No?
Up there.
Okay, interesting. All right. Let's talk more about these two songs that we played. The first one was called Krakatoa.
Yeah.
And Ed said there's a cool story behind it.
Well, Krakatoa, for those of you that don't know, and I didn't know this until Nate brought it to us, it was one of the deadliest volcano eruptions ever, number 2, in fact, in Indonesia in the 1864, I think.
1883.
Yeah, and it lasted for 6 months.
Whoa.
And it killed like 36,000 people. And so we tried to do our best to kind of simulate that eruption when we recorded and mixed that song.
We didn't kill anybody, though.
Yeah. That got a little dark.
What was the inspiration for it?
Have you been there? Have you seen
Yeah,
that?
I used to live in Sumatra, which is
wow.
the volcano is between Java and Sumatra.
I used to drink.
That's cool.
That's random as hell.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Did you just like
how'd you end
move
up
down there?
How'd you end up there?
Oh, I was studying ethnomusicology at the University of Washington in Seattle, and one of my bandmates, the bass player, actually was from Medan, Sumatra, and he's a Batak musician. So I went.
What's Batak?
Batak is an ethnic group.
Oh.
There's several Batak groups in North Sumatra. And so I went and stayed with him, and I got an English teaching job and hung out and played Batak music. For
How
a while.
cool.
That's really cool. Yeah.
The more you know.
So that song's actually an Indonesian scale called Pelog scale, which is a pentatonic scale.
Huh.
And
how would... Yeah, give us a little lick.
Like in the intro.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
how would you describe that type of music in a general sense? I mean, is it does it sound like Turkish music, like Western Asian music, or
different. The Pelog scale is the scale they used in gamelan music. So,
but this rabbit hole is just keeping going. We're just digging deeper here.
I told you, Mike.
Gamelan. I
told you.
You did.
You gotta play
Gamelan.
The other one we played. The other one we played, Crescent Moon, is actually in a Turkish makam scale.
Wow.
So it's the same scale that Dick Daly uses in Mizerlu, which is another song from Istanbul, actually.
Wow.
I lived in Istanbul 11 years. I was teaching at university there.
And so you were teaching English at these places, or?
Yep.
Wow, incredible.
Thank God for nerds.
I love it.
Dude.
Okay, so
this has been one of the most enlightening sections of radio I've been.
I'll tell you what, it's been.
Back to symbols again. The Zildjian family is actually from Istanbul, from Samatya, where the original factory was.
That's right.
And the name Zildjian, Zil means
Zildjian means symbol maker.
Zildji is symbol maker, and Zildjian would be the Armenian form of the family name of symbol makers.
That's right. So like Zildjian are like the original, all modern symbols as we know it started as the Zildjian family. Real quick, did you know that Zildjian is the oldest family-run business in the United States?
Wow, interesting.
Mm-hmm. And Nate also told me that symbols were invented by them as a weapon of war. So they would be on the battlefield, and all of a sudden their opponents would hear cymbals and like, what the hell is that?
Use your head right off if you get enough.
Use it as a sound distraction.
Yeah, like an intimidation.
Well, if you got like 1,000 people hitting the symbol of doom at the same time when you're marching into Sofia, Bulgaria, you're probably going to win the war.
Getting chucked across the stage, you'll chop their fingers off.
Wow.
That's dangerous.
All right, so
that's awesome. I've seen you guys around a bit, but I think y'all might be like my new favorite local band.
Well, I'll tell you what, we have definitely leveled up the IQ of the radio program this afternoon. We've had a great conversation with Open Mike and talking about Nostr and Tunester. Now we got crazy music and licks from Istanbul. So anyway, very, very cool stuff.
It was Constantinople.
It was. Now it's in Istanbul. What was the? They Might Be Giants did a cool song, right?
I knew it was going there.
Yeah. All right. So.
You had to go.
So let's talk about the recording one more time. There are two songs that we played. We played Krakatoa. We also played Monster Truck. Mm-hmm. Are you recording more material, and are you going to release that at any time in the future?
We just recorded this in December, so we're still. Ed's been working on doing these mixes at home in his home studio, and so we're trying to get these ready.
Yeah, once we get them all mixed, we'll kind of figure out which ones we like and don't like, and then take the next step from there. We don't really know yet. If we have 6, so I'm leaning towards like 4 that I really like. Mm-hmm. So maybe 5, and then, like I was saying, maybe Spotify, hopefully, and maybe cut together a couple of videos.
We got to get you up on Nostr. And we get you guys getting some tips without even while you're sleeping.
What, money? Money? What?
Are you doing live performances? Are you planning to play out and about in the springtime or any more this winter?
We're trying.
We don't
Currently don't have anything booked. We leave that to Matt. He stays on them over there, and he got us a couple gigs at Rose with Bad Names, and
I love Ben Hinkebine. He's a fantastic vocalist, and they're a great band.
Yeah, he's my buddy. He's one that I think he told you guys about us.
I think that's probably right. Yeah.
How can other venues, though, get a hold of you all to book you?
Yeah, if people want to find you guys.
We have an Instagram, X-Gentleman. Not too hard to find.
Yep.
Question mark.
Yeah, we have one of those. Or they can get to you.
Yep. I'm certainly available, and if you want to get a hold of any of these bands that are on the program, certainly just get a hold of me. I'm easy enough. So
I think I call it X-Gentleman Como. Let me see.
All right. So do that. Find them. All right. Give them a follow on Instagram, and if you're looking for a fun surf punk band to play a venue or play a gig somewhere,
Show Me Surf.
They're a lot of fun. So no doubt, Show Me Surf. I love it. Right. All right. Well. I will say thank you guys. That's awesome. Keep in touch with me, and when you do release that new stuff, get it to me, and we'll get you back on the show, and we'll share some more of it with the people. All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Very cool. All right, Ed and Nate, 2/3 of the X-Gentlemen, with us in the studio this afternoon. Thanks again, you guys. Awesome stuff. Dylan, you want to get ready to play something? And I'm going to play. Okay, hold on a second. Remember last week where I wanted to play that song with the Bannister Charlton with the solo from Rocket Kirshner.
Yeah.
I'm going to play that, and then maybe you'll play a couple songs or something for us, all right?
Dope. I'll be ready by the end of the song.
All right, very good. It's Open Mic Radio, KOPN Columbia, 89.5 FM. Once again, we're on the web at kopn.org. Big thank you to Ed and Nate from the X-Gentlemen taking the time to come down and spend with us this afternoon playing some live music, and we had a couple recorded tracks from them as well. Find them online. The X-Gentlemen. They're from Columbia, Missouri, and easy enough to find, Okay, so if you weren't listening last week, I wanted to play the song called Empty Promises at the end of the show.
Revisit that, Mike?
Yeah, we're going to try it again, Kurt. So, for whatever reason, I had a technical problem, and I couldn't get it to work, and I was really shouting out about how great this guitar solo is that Rocket Kirshner laid down in one track, like he didn't even... Okay, so these guys were recording the song "Empty Promises," and Rocket was supposed to come in and do like a guest thing to record the guitar solo, and they didn't even know if he was going to show up because he hadn't talked to anybody. Anyway, he ended up showing up, and in one take he did this one. So anyway, great song here and great guitar solo from my good friend Rocket Kirshner. Check it out. This is "Empty Promises," the Bannister Tarleton Band. It's Open Mic Radio, KOPN Columbia.
Days and nights, empty promises. It seems like all my friends are strangers. Nobody cares. They tell me things and they rearrange them. They rearrange. Empty promises all my life. Cold and heartless people. Empty days and nights. Empty promises. Another wrong number. Another long wait. Another cold shoulder. Everybody's two-faced. Yeah. Sleazy times. Heartbreakers on the loose looking for affection. Everybody slides. Read the fine print for your own protection. Empty promises all my life. Cold and heartless people. Empty days and nights. Empty promises. Empty promises. Now there's you.
Oh, yeah. How about it? I love it. Yeah, incredible song and great guitar playing there from Bannister Tarleton and that kick-ass guitar solo there by my good friend, Mr. Rocket Kirshner. So, all right, it's Open Mic Radio, KOPN Columbia. We've got, what do we got? 25 minutes? We'll call it 20, and we'll get out of here a few minutes early and give Rashimba plenty of time to get his reggae groove on. It's... yeah, about 5:35, and you're listening to Open Mic Radio. Very fun, interesting show, I guess I should say, this afternoon. Wonderful music and lots of interesting conversation as well. Hope you're enjoying it out there. We're going to keep the music going here for a few more minutes. Mr. Dylan McCord playing. Do you want me? Do you want your channel on here?
Go ahead and talk for a second.
Yeah.
I'll make sure.
Okay. And let me do one more piece of business here. Where is it?
Business.
Yes. La Brunerie Financiale. This program is brought to you by listener support and a donation from La Brunerie Financial, fulfilling their mission of providing financial and investment advice to people from all walks of life since 1966. La Brunerie Financial also offers a variety of retirement plans and educational programs for employers, groups, and organizations of any size. More information available at labrunerie.com or by calling 573-449-5313. All right, we're still waiting for Mr. Dylan here, so I will tell you that...
Turn me up and
I'll turn you up, baby.
turn me on.
Next week, we have a live remote. Yeah, you're up and running, or you should be. We have a live remote planned at Club LVX. That's down on the corner of 9th and Walnut.
Yeah, thanks for letting me know.
Downtown Columbia.
About not being there tonight, Mike. I'm glad that Dylan was able to pick me up on the way in. Saw me outside. He was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Well, you know, Mike, last week you said, hey, we're doing a live remote." And
There we go. Now I got
but
my
anyway,
stuff.
I made it here.
Yeah, I know you did. I need
all right.
figure out a way, Kurt.
I figured you were you'd tell me at one point or another about it.
I would have. but you found your way anyway.
Somewhere about like right now.
Anyway, next week, please join us at Club LVX. It'll be a great, fun program with a live performance from Lemon Settlement, one of my favorite local bands. They're rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
All right, so what else? Dylan, you want to play a song or two?
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of getting settled into a new thing, but BT Dubs, I'm playing this guitar you loaned me a while back.
It's a pretty one.
That I was so scared to play because of what it is.
It's beautiful.
But I brought it out of my closet and touched it the other night, and I haven't been able to stop touching it. That was kind of like my early teen years.
All right, we're going to get our PG rating back in a few minutes, but in the meantime,
I kept it PG, man.
Dylan McCord on the Les Paul. Love it. What year is that? 74?
68.
It's
a Kalamazoo 68 Les Paul standard.
Man. I didn't even know.
With an odd.
It's my guitar. I thought it was a 74.
No, I did. I went full geek on it. So it's a 68 Les Paul Kalamazoo made. And it's got an oddball. It's
sunburst.
not tobacco, but it's kind of a smokier sunburst pattern.
It's beautiful.
That you can't find.
That's new.
That's right.
I'm a big.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I gave it to you to clean up and make it play nice. So we'll get one here from maybe a couple or three from Dylan playing this beautiful instrument. All right. It's Open Mic Radio, KOPN Columbia, 89.5 FM. Check out the Ex-Gentlemen. Check out Noster. Check out Tunester. Check out Primal. Damus.
Dude, Mike, Tunester, there's a thing that we got to talk about. Like, I am so hyped up and fired up about finding a way.
Yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to figure it out.
Art, and so whatever we got to do.
I'm so hyped up about hearing Dylan play music.
I know,
now.
right?
Woo!
And this very next song, Segue, is called Listen, Children, and it's about passing on to everybody behind us that we got a duty and we got a world to create and we got a way to make it for each other.
Yeah, right on. I love it. Dylan McCord, Open Mic Radio, KOPN Columbia.
Children, we grow way too fast. Gotta learn to make these moments last. Hear me, I'm an old man, living for most my days, trying to find meaning in my ways. Hold your arms around the ones you love. Use your heart to tear down the walls. Love has a way of standing above it all. Time to let the old ways crumble and fall. we hate way too fast. We gotta learn to make this love grow and last. Hear me, I'm an old man, living for most my days, trying to find meaning in my ways. Hold your arms around the ones you love. Use your heart to tear down the walls. Love has a way of standing above it all. Time to let the old ways crumble and fall.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. We're getting
Yar.
tight on time. I want one more.
Dig it.
Can you do one more?
Yeah, which one you want?
Anything you choose, because you're playing that new axe. Maybe. So
We're tight on time. Yes, we are.
we're not that tight, but we get one more. We get one more from Dylan.
I'm gonna do this one a
then
little
we'll kind
bit
of close
more,
things up here. Okay.
a little more grungy.
Yeah, crank it up. Ooh, I like it. Yeah. All right, once again, Dylan McCord here in the studio having some fun with this 68 Les Paul. And we'll get another one from Dylan here. All right? Open Mic Radio, KOPN Columbia.
They say it's the way they control us, deny this way with all that you are. Have faith and hope and for love of one another. Deny this wall they use to separate. Don't settle on the ways you love. Don't settle on the ways you die. Don't settle on the harm you bring. Don't settle on the hate in your eyes. Don't settle on the ways you love or the ways you die. Now is the time to stand up and fight. You know what is right. You can feel it deep inside. Don't stand all the way. Your complacency fails every settle on the ways we love. Don't settle on the ways we die. Don't settle on the harm we bring. Don't settle on the hate in your eyes. Don't settle on the ways we love or the ways we die. One more time. Don't settle on who we love or how they die.
Yeah, a little acapella at the end there. Love it, all right? Open Mic Radio, KOPN Columbia, Dylan McCord. Incredible.
I lost connection there for a split second.
All right, he's back. I kind of like it, all right?
There you are with your technology.
Don't settle on who you love or why they die.
Don't settle, period. All right, Open Mic Radio, KOPN Columbia, and Dylan McCord, Kurt, Clark, ex-gentleman, Open Mic. All right, we are 5:50. Let's play one more here, and then we'll come back and say goodbye. I was expecting John Randall to come by this afternoon, and he didn't. So I'm going to play this one anyway because it's.
He got caught up in squirrels.
It was.
I saw him in his underwear earlier today.
Here, this was recorded actually in the studio a couple of years ago here, and
Call us love, we miss you.
a song from the Hoot and Hollers that Johnny performed here by himself. This one's called "I Know It All." All right, once again, it's Open Mic Radio, KOPN Columbia. We'll be back in a few minutes to say goodbye, all right?
Try to tell me that you love me. Oh, now don't try to tell me that you care, because I know, I already know. I do not want to hear your explanation. I can't even stand to look into your eyes, oh, because I know, 'cause I already know. I know everything, I know everything, I know it all. And my eyes are open, I can no use to hide all these things that have been going on. A man cannot abide, and I know, and I already know. I'm gonna expose you, every one of your snake-tongued friends. Oh, you mean no good to anybody. Your welcome is at an end, because I know, I already know. I know everything, I know everything, I know it all. Well, I know about your secrets, I know about your lies, I know about your bloodlines, I see through your disguise. I've been to Colorado, I felt a dreadful rumbling sound. I seen the ancient city miles and miles beneath the ground.
there's a nice one there from Mr. John Randall, guitarist, vocalist for the Hootin' Hollers. All right.
What's that one called there again, Michael?
That one's called I Already Know. Actually, it's called I Know It All.
I know it all.
Yep. All right. And I know it's time to get out of here, Kurt. So let's do it. You've been listening to Open Mic Radio on KOPN Columbia 89.5 FM.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, folks.
I had a great time this afternoon.
Around by Rashumba.
That's right. Rashumba and a radio party coming at you. Next week, once again, Lemon Settlement, live remote from LVX. That'll be a blast. Big party out there, okay? Lifeline on the 1st of March, Secular Era on April 26th. I've been trying to get those guys booked. We also have the Wilson Park Rangers coming up soon, Pink Houses, the Off Grid Band, Tri-County Liquidators, Soft Crisis, bunch of great stuff coming up over the next weeks and months. So join us, okay? Big thank you to the Ex-Gentlemen. Had a great time this afternoon. Thanks for the music. Big thank you to Open Mic up there in Minneapolis. Check him out on tunester.io. We're going to have much more to say about this stuff over the coming weeks and months. And let's get one more from Kurt here and we'll get out of here. My email address, by the way, MikeHagan@MikeHagan.com. Website, podcast, get all that stuff, all right? Send me music if you want to appear on the show. And, okay, all right. You've been listening to Open Mic Radio on KOPN Columbia 89.5 FM, all right? Hope you all enjoy the weekend. Be cool to yourself, be cool to other people out there. Stick around. Rashumba, all right? We'll catch you all next week, all right? Kurt, let's get out of here. Clark.
Radio.